What would happen to humans if Earth suddenly lost its atmosphere? Within seconds of Earth losing its atmosphere, all unprotected humans would face immediate death. The air in our lungs would rush out due to the vacuum of space, causing our lungs to rupture. Our blood would begin to boil as the pressure drops. The water in our tissues would vaporize, causing severe damage. Let's examine how quickly these effects would occur. Consciousness would be lost within 15 seconds, and death would follow shortly after. Only those in pressurized environments might survive the initial moments. Without immediate protection, exposure to vacuum conditions would be rapidly fatal for all humans. Without Earth's atmosphere, our planet would experience extreme temperature swings that would make it uninhabitable. As the atmosphere disappears, Earth loses its protection. During daylight, temperatures would soar to over 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. This happens because solar radiation hits Earth's surface directly, with no atmospheric filtering to protect us. At night, the situation becomes equally extreme, but in the opposite direction. Temperatures would plummet to negative 100 degrees Celsius or negative 148 degrees Fahrenheit as all heat rapidly radiates into space. Without the atmosphere, there would be nothing to retain the heat, and it would radiate rapidly into the cold vacuum of space. This extreme temperature cycle would occur daily, making the planet's surface uninhabitable. These extreme temperature swings would cause massive thermal stress to all structures. Materials would repeatedly expand in the heat and contract in the cold. Rock formations would crack and splinter, and any water would rapidly boil during the day, then freeze solid at night. Our atmosphere serves as a crucial shield against deadly cosmic and solar radiation. Without our atmosphere, Earth would be bombarded by different types of harmful radiation. If our atmosphere disappeared, the full force of ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, and cosmic rays would bombard Earth's surface. This intense radiation would destroy any exposed DNA by breaking molecular bonds. The radiation would also rapidly degrade materials on Earth's surface, including buildings and infrastructure. Without our atmospheric shield, radiation exposure would kill any living organisms that somehow survived the pressure and temperature changes, while causing materials to degrade rapidly. In summary, the loss of our atmosphere would expose Earth to a lethal bombardment of cosmic and solar radiation, with devastating consequences for all life and infrastructure. Without Earth's atmosphere, the fate of our planet's water would be dramatic and swift. Earth's oceans, lakes, and rivers would begin to boil immediately. But surprisingly, this would not be due to heat. Instead, it would be caused by the sudden drop in atmospheric pressure. This process, called flash evaporation, would create a brief but massive cloud of water vapor. However, without atmospheric pressure to contain it, this water vapor would quickly escape into space. On Earth's dark side, the side facing away from the sun, some water would quickly freeze due to the extreme cold of space. Over time, our planet would lose nearly all of its surface water. Without its atmosphere, Earth would eventually become a dry, barren world similar to Mars, with almost all its surface water lost to space. To summarize, without our atmosphere, Earth's water would undergo flash evaporation, with most vapor escaping to space and some freezing on the dark side, ultimately leaving our planet dry and barren like Mars. Without atmospheric protection, Earth's surface would undergo dramatic changes. Earth's surface would be constantly bombarded by meteoroids that normally burn up in our atmosphere. Even small rocks would hit with devastating force, creating new craters across the landscape. Erosion processes that shape our planet would change dramatically. With no wind or rain, only the slight gravitational movement of loose material and the impact of space debris would alter the surface over time. The planet would gradually begin to resemble the cratered appearance of the moon, with an increasingly pockmarked surface from constant meteor impacts. Without atmospheric protection, Earth's surface would be constantly reshaped by meteoroid impacts rather than the wind and water erosion we're familiar with. Without its atmosphere, Earth's rotation and climate systems would undergo dramatic changes. The loss of 5.5 quadrillion tons of atmospheric mass would slightly alter Earth's rotation rate. All weather systems would instantly cease to exist. There would be no clouds, rain, snow, or wind. Global circulation patterns that distribute heat would stop functioning, creating extreme temperature differences between the sunlit and dark sides of Earth. Ocean currents would continue briefly, but would change dramatically as the oceans themselves begin to evaporate without atmospheric pressure. Without an atmosphere, Earth's finely balanced climate and rotational systems would be fundamentally altered, creating a hostile environment unlike anything in Earth's recent history. Sound waves need a medium to travel through. Without an atmosphere, Earth would become completely silent. In a vacuum, no sounds can travel. Not voices, not explosions, not even the loudest imaginable events. Let's examine which communication methods would still function without an atmosphere. Sound communication would be impossible, as sound waves require molecules and air to travel. Radio communications would still function as they use electromagnetic waves, but long-distance transmission would be affected without the ionosphere to reflect signals. Satellite communications would continue to work, becoming the only viable means of long-distance communication for any survivors. With an atmosphere, radio signals can bounce off the ionosphere and travel long distances around Earth's curve. Without an atmosphere, there is no ionosphere to reflect signals. This limits radio communication to line of sight only. For long-distance communication, satellites would become essential. In summary, without an atmosphere, Earth would be completely silent. Communication would be limited to visual signals and electromagnetic waves, primarily relying on satellite technology. For humanity to survive without an atmosphere, we would need self-contained habitats with their own air supply. These habitats would require independent air supply systems, temperature regulation, and protection from cosmic radiation. Underground facilities would offer the best protection from radiation and temperature extremes. The Earth itself provides natural radiation shielding and temperature stability, protecting inhabitants from the harsh surface conditions. Long-term survival would require closed-loop life support systems that recycle air, water, food, and waste. These systems would need to continuously regenerate oxygen, purify water, and process waste to maintain a habitable environment. Growing food would need to occur in pressurized greenhouses with artificial lighting. These controlled environments would require sophisticated systems for lighting, pressure maintenance, nutrient recycling, and climate control. While the technology for these habitats exists, maintaining them indefinitely would present enormous challenges. Resource depletion, equipment maintenance, psychological effects of confinement, and sustainable energy generation would all pose significant hurdles to long-term survival.